Welcome to Stella's Meza. In the clip right before I came on, I showed you how to marinate some chicken for biryani. Today we are cooking biryani. Biryani is a very festive rice dish that's cooked in East Africa a lot, especially around the Kenyan coast, and it's a favorite during weddings and any other festivities. So the thing that stands out about this dish is that it's a layered dish, and we use basmati rice, which is a king of rices, or king of rice. Now that in Kenya we also call pishori, and we're also going to use chicken today. We'll be making a chicken biryani. Now you can use a variety of meats to make this. You can use mutton, you can use chicken, or you can use hard-boiled eggs, or you can even do a vegetable biryani. But today's dish is a chicken biryani. Now one of the things, the standout spices used in this is saffron, which is one of the most expensive spices. That's why I tell you it's a very special dish that's cooked on special occasions. And there's also cumin, black cumin, or and cardamom, and all other kinds of spices. Now I'm going to show you the chicken that we left marinating overnight. And in the clip right before this, I showed you what we put in there. Now in here is some yogurt. We put some raw papaya, some ginger, some garlic, some mace, dry mace, some whole spices. We put bay leaves in there. We put peppercorns, we put black cumin. That's what I use because I prefer the smell to the regular cumin in this dish. And then I also put some cardamom. I put some, what else, ginger and garlic. But I'm going to include the list of ingredients and the measurements down in the description box, so make sure you look out for that. Now over here, this is 1 pound of chicken, and I use skin off but bone in chicken thighs. I find that chicken thighs has more flavor as opposed to chicken breast or any other parts of the chicken. So that's what we're going to use. Now, if you look over here, you will see I fried some onions in about a cup and a half of oil. So you want it to look like this, and you're going to use that to put in the dish. And then over here I have boiling some water, a little bit of oil, and when I say oil, I use canola oil because I find it's healthier than the other oils. And you don't want to use olive oil because olive oil has that distinct smell, so you want an odorless oil. That's why I use canola oil for this dish. And then I have 3 pods of cardamom, and then I have like a pinch of black cumin, and I want to bring that to a boil. We're going to use this water to cook our rice. And then over here I have a pot that has some oil. I'm going to reduce the heat on that. Some cooking oil. Actually, I'm going to move it over. And we're going to use that to cook our chicken. And then over here I have some tomato paste. I have saffron steeping in half a cup of water. I have some salt to taste. I have some turmeric. I have some red chili powder, or pili pili as we call it. I have some cumin, ground cumin, and I have some ground coriander. And here I have half a cup of golden raisins that I'm going to put in my rice. And then over here I have fried some potatoes. Now they are not all the way done. I fry them in the same oil that I fried the onions in. What I do is I put a fork in there, and it should go through but not all the way through, because remember these are going to cook in the rice as well, so you don't want it all the way cooked. Just fry it out so to a crisp, the edges are crisp. And then over here I have basmati rice that I soaked in water for 40 minutes. You want to soak it for 30 to 40 minutes at least. And the reason why we soak it is to elongate the rice grains, so that if you've seen dishes sometimes where the rice is like all separated, and that's the effect that has. It fluffs it up and it lets it all separate. You don't want it to be mushy. It's not supposed to be mushy. It's supposed to look pretty. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to start with heating up the chicken. Cooking the chicken over here. Now that oil is hot. So what I'm going to do here is add some of this. This is tomatoes that I made a puree out of. It's like 4 large tomatoes. I'm going to put that in there, and be careful because it's going to splatter, so you want to do it away from me. Be very careful. Now I use 4 tablespoons of oil, the same oil in which I fry the onions and the potatoes, just to give it that it's infused with the flavors of those two, so you want to use that, or you can just use 4 tablespoons of oil, canola oil. It's nothing's been cooked in. So I'm going to put that in there, and then when it comes to a heat, to a boil, I'm going to put that tomato paste. But in the meantime, I'm going to put these spices. I start with turmeric because that takes a little longer to cook. That's that beautiful bright yellow. Okay. each time you put something in, you're going to give it a little stir. Careful, splatter. That's why I'm wearing an apron, because I want to eat the food. I don't want to wear it. Turn it up a little bit more. I'm going to put some cumin in there. This is some ground cumin. So what happens is you cook this biryani in stages. You start either with the rice or the chicken, and then you're going to take the rice and you're going to layer it. When I say layer it, I mean you're going to put it, I have here an aluminum baking pan. I'm going to put the rice, I'm going to put the chicken at the bottom once it's finished cooking. Chicken at the bottom, and then I'm going to put a layer of rice. I'm going to drizzle some of that saffron water, and then I'm going to drizzle a little bit of oil, and then I'm going to put another layer of rice, drizzle saffron water, a little bit of oil, and then I'm going to garnish it with onions, and then we're going to throw it in the oven at 350 for 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, now when you cook the rice, you want to cook it but not all the way done. You want it to be al dente. You want it such that when you like squeeze it between your index finger and your thumb, it'll break, but it's still a little bit hard, because remember, you're going to put it in the oven and it's going to cook some more, and that's when it's going to cook all the way and dry. And you can see the tomatoes have come to a boil. I'm going to add the coriander. Now that is a loud spoon. And I'm going to add chili. And all the house smells so good from the onions and the potatoes that we're cooking. Alright, and then to that I'm going to add, it's a small can of tomato paste. You find this in the grocery store. I'm going to add that in there. And the reason why I put the chicken at the bottom of the aluminum baking pan is so that the aromas from the chicken, they waft up into the rice. And that way the rice has that nice, beautiful smell. Now it might get thick, and if it does get thick to where it sticks the pan, it's a non-stick pan, but if it does get thick to where it sticks the pan, just add a little bit of water as you do this. Now once all this is cooked and incorporated, I'm going to throw the chicken and all the stuff that I marinated it in right in into this pot and let it cook down on medium heat. Let it simmer for 20-25 minutes. So for as long as the rice is cooking there, the rice is going to take around the same amount of time, 20-25 minutes, to get to that stage where I want it to get al dente. Now you're going to add a little bit of salt. I use kosher salt. 2 pinches I think should be enough. Actually, a little bit more won't kill anything. Stir. Now, a lot of times this dish is eaten with something called kachumbari. That's a Kenyan rendition of salsa. It has onions, tomatoes, cilantro, some lime juice. Okay, I'm going to add the chicken, and I'm going to reach out to the chicken here, and I'm just going to put it all in here. Now the reason why we put, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, I put some lemon juice in here. The reason why we do that is because that helps to tenderize the chicken. It's going to be messy. It helps to tenderize the chicken. So this chicken is good, and not only does it have the flavors of everything that I put in there, it's nice, and it's going to be nice and tender, like fall off the bone tender. I'm just going to drop this in here. Aha. Okay. Put that in the center. Then we're going to stir, just to make sure the chicken pieces are nice and coated in that sauce. Boy, it smells so good. Alright, and then we're going to, after it's all coated, nicely coated, we're going to cover it up, and then we're going to let it cook for 20-25 minutes. Okay? Actually, I'm going to add a little bit of water, just so it does not stick. Just a little bit. There you go. gonna let it cool, medium heat. All right, I'm gonna check on the rice here, see how that water is doing, and we want it to come to a boil. So we're gonna take a break. We're almost to that point. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, I'll show you the next step. So see you real soon. Welcome back to Stella's Mezza. Right before the break, we were putting our water for the rice on a high boil, and right after it came to a high boil, I went ahead and the rice was already drained. I went ahead and put the rice in there. Now, you need to taste the water to see if it's salty enough for your liking. I found out that mine was not as salty as I wanted it, so I added some more salt in there. And then I let it boil, but I let it boil to where the rice is not all the way done. So you should be able to press on it, and you should feel some kind of hardness, but still it breaks, okay? It breaks, but there's some hardness to it, like you would not eat it at that stage. So that's when it's ready to take out. And I let my chicken simmer on medium for 15 to 20 minutes. Now what I did in the last 10 minutes, I went ahead and added the potatoes that I'd fried, like I'd half fried, into the chicken, just so it can take in on the color of the chicken. And over here, I went ahead and added the half cup of raisins that I had, just right on top of the rice, because as I layer it onto the bacon sheet, it's gonna mix in there. So I don't need it, because if you start mixing the rice at this point, you're gonna break it. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing in the aluminum foil. And over here I have my saffron steeping in half a cup of water, and I also have some oil, just regular canola oil. And over here we have the fried onions. So what we're going to do is we're going to start layering the rice onto the cooking, the baking sheet, but be very careful because it's hot, okay? And also be gentle. You don't want to break up the rice. You want it nice, and you see how it's cooking. So what we're basically doing, as we layer this, we're going to put it in the oven to let it completely dry out and finish cooking is what we're doing. So just going to add that in there. As you can see, the raisins have mixed themselves in there, and when you serve it, they're going to be good. And the reason why I put it at the end, I didn't want them to boil in there with the rice. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my saffron oil. Those strands, that's perfectly fine if they fall into the water, so I wouldn't worry about it. Just kind of a pattern. Don't cover the whole surface, just in a pattern. All right, and then we're going to follow that with a little bit of oil. Here, I'll help this thing out a little bit. Try not to let out too much of it. Come on, oil. I knew it was in there. So. All right, next we're going to put the chicken on there. Now, some people like to put the chicken all the way to the bottom and then put the rice over it. I want to switch it up a little, put the rice on there. I'm going to put the chicken and then another layer of rice, okay? Oh, it smells really, really good. I'm going to put the potatoes in there too. It smells incredible, guys. I cannot wait to eat it. I'm going slow because I don't want it to splatter all over me. Remember, it doesn't take most. The chicken's halfway cooked. The rice is also halfway cooked, so it's not going to take a while. But once you put it in the oven, before we can actually get to eat it. Try and get all that good stuff in there. Right. See, is anything in here, anything solid? No, so I'm just gonna put that sauce ever so lightly in there. Oh my goodness, I wish you guys could smell this. It's incredible. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside, and then I'm going to do another layer of rice. Remember, gently, you don't want to break your beautiful rice. this was 3 cups of rice, y'all. I don't want to make too much because it's just a family of, it's only 4 of us, so there should be plenty for a meal. Feel free to double up the recipe depending on the size of your crowd. And in case you don't have saffron, I forgot to mention this because sometimes it could be hard to find, just orange food coloring would do. Just put a teaspoon of it, mix it with a quarter or half a cup of water depending on how much rice you're making, and then use it the same way I'm using this saffron water. So this rice at the bottom and at the top is going to absorb all the flavors and the smell, aromas of the chicken that's underneath or on top of it. You can also add some nuts in there, like cashew nuts. You can mix it in with the rice and the raisins. That makes for a very rich dish. I'm going to kind of flatten it out ever so gently. Alright, back to saffron water. And then I'm going to take a little bit of oil. And what we're going to do once we're done layering this way and adding the leftover onions here, we're going to cover it up in foil. And my oven is preheating at 350 degrees. We are going to throw it in the oven, cover it in aluminum foil, let it cook for 30 to 40 minutes. Just sprinkle that over. So you have that texture, the crunch, and then you have the rice, and then you have the chicken, the succulent chicken. And then you also have the sweet raisins there. Now that's balance right there. Balance of everything. The flavor, the texture, the colors. It's just a beautiful dish. It's delicious as well. And it's not that complicated if you think about it. It just comes in stages. And once you got it down, you're all set. So I'm going to cover this up in foil, put it in the oven, 30 to 40 minutes, and I'll keep checking on it. Make sure everything's going good. And then when we come back, I will show you the finished product and you'll get to see me enjoy it. Alright, so we'll be right back. Welcome back. Right before the break, we left while I was putting the biryani in the oven. Now I went ahead and cooked it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 35 minutes. You can do it from 35 to 40 minutes. And I went ahead and covered it up in foil right before I put it in the oven on the middle rack. Now I went ahead and served up some of it. You can see the foil, aluminum foil thing that I baked it in, and I went ahead and served it up family style over here on a platter, and I want you to come in and take a look. I just wish there was a way you could smell the aroma coming out of this dish. It is beautiful. If you look in there, you can see the yellow or the orange and white rice owing to saffron. You can see the chicken over here, and you can see the onion that we fried, the onions that we fried in here, and there's the potatoes in there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead, I'm going to stop torturing myself. This is just too much. It smells too good. I'm going to serve myself up. Oops. A couple bites and see what we're working with. Take a potato here. That's one of those fried potatoes that we had, and then I'm going to take this piece of chicken, if it allows me to. Oh, it smells so good. My hands are clean, don't worry. So, and one thing I gotta remind you, when you're cooking your rice, make sure you season it. Like, make sure you taste the salt in there. Because if your rice is not salted enough, your biryani is just going to be blah. So you want to make sure you taste the salt, just the way you like it, okay? So let's see. I'm going to take that raisin over there, some of this rice. Oh my, that is so good. You can taste the onion, the fried onion in there, and that raisin, it bursts in your mouth. It's so delicious. I'm going to try some of this chicken. I can barely see it. You see it's tender? There you go. This is lick your fingers good. Chicken's done. Oh, It's tender, and the flavors of everything I put in that marinade has permeated through. You can taste literally everything. Say ah. I'm gonna stop teasing. But I'm glad you could join me this time, and I hope you'll stop by next time as I take your taste buds on another culinary safari. Thank you for joining me, and Karibu to Stella's Meza. Yeah.